Our daily Bible reading for February 19th. Our reading today comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 27. We'll begin reading in verse 45 through 66. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani. That is, my God, why have you forsaken me? And some of the bystanders, hearing it, said, This man is calling Elijah. And one of them at once ran and took a sponge, filling it with sour wine, and put it on a reed, and gave it to him to drink. But the other said, Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to save him. And Jesus cried out again with a loud voice, and yielded up his spirit. And behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two, from top to bottom. And the earth shook, and the rocks were split. The tombs also were opened, and many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised. And coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many. When the centurion and those who were with him, keeping watch over Jesus, saw the earthquake and what took place, they were filled with awe and said, Truly, this was the Son of God. There were also many women there, looking on from a distance, who had followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering to him, among whom were Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of the sons of Zebedee. When it was evening, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, who was also a disciple of Jesus. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then Pilate ordered it to be given to him. And Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a clean linen shroud, and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had cut in the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the entrance of the tomb and went away. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were there, sitting opposite the tomb. The next day, that is, after the day of preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered before Pilate and said, Sir, we remember how that impostor said, while he was still alive, After 3 days I will rise. Therefore, order the tomb to be made secure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples go and steal him away and tell the people, He has risen from the dead, and the last fraud will be worse than the first. Pilate said to them, You have a guard of soldiers. Go, make it as secure as you can. So they went and made the tomb secure by sealing the stone and setting a guard. A few thoughts for today. When finally the culmination of the ages had come, and Jesus gave up the ghost and breathed his last, a series of events occurs that indicate just how momentous this occasion was. For nothing like this had happened in the world. Not the plagues of Egypt, not the collapse of the walls of Jericho, not the parting of the Red Sea, not the defeat of foreign armies. Nothing. After all, the Son of God had just died, and the world must bear witness of this event. The veil of the temple, the division of the holy from the Holy of Holies, that which the high priest passed through but once a year to offer the blood for the nation's sins. Now it was rent in two. But what did this signify? What would the Jews understand this to mean? Would anyone connect these events with the death of Jesus? Imagine what the priest who was there for the evening sacrifice must have thought at the sight of this veil, described by the rabbis of the day as no less than 40 cubits in height, being torn in two. The veil of the temple and all the implications of its being torn in two. That which kept us from God is now taken away. The body of Jesus, as it was this veil, Hebrews 10:20. That was broken for us. It was taken away that we might now boldly approach the throne of grace, for which the high priest, Jesus, has gone before us. So many types and antitypes happening here that it makes the head spin to consider just how monumental this act was. Not only the veil, but the earthquake and the rocks split, and the tombs of the saints who had fallen asleep were open, and they appeared to many in the streets. Truly, nothing like this had ever happened before. Yet for all these events, it was the centurion's testimony that would be the greatest witness. Truly, this was the Son of God, was his statement. Who could help but believe after such events occurred? But the best was yet to come. In 3 days, the single greatest act that has ever happened was about to change the world forever. Question of the day. What would you have thought if you were alive that day in Jerusalem? And finally, a thought to meditate on this day. Considering the events of that day, do you think that any of the high-ranking Jews thought about what they had just done to Jesus? And those are our thoughts for today, February 19th.